afternoon, everybody. It's Monsignor Deutsch from St. Pat's with our daily meditation. And I was thinking about how I like to go around and walk or be on the property, find different places. Being outside, especially, I find it to be very prayerful. Like I walk the parking lot and at night do a rosary. Walk the trails around here, and there's just something about being outside, being in nature, especially on a beautiful day, where you just feel so close to God. Even on a rainy day, I mean, I enjoy those too. Not too many of those, but there's something about that. And I was, just reflecting on all the places that I've been where I have had, let's say, spiritual experiences, in the mountains or certain cities like Rome, where just you can walk down every block and find a beautiful church with amazing art, and you just sit there and you kind of contemplate all the people who built that place and provided the funds to commission great art and anything that kind of lifts our souls up to God. And so, what are the places that you pray? Where are the places that maybe kind of speak to you? If you just look over here, right there, this little picture here, as I'm looking at it, if you can see that, that's me. There's a reflection there. Sorry about that. That's me. Gosh, many years ago, probably 15, 16 years ago, and it's up in the mountain. It's in the Balkan states, right? That's a hint. And I was there with a group of people from my parish. I didn't lead the pilgrimage, but I was a member of it, and it was in Medjugorje. And I love that picture because I'm obviously praying somebody took it. And being up there on Apparition Hill was pretty amazing. And a lot of things happened in Medj. Been there a few times. And I really find it to be a very peaceful place. And people say, well, why isn't the church spoken out on it yet? Because they're still looking at it. And, people say, well, what happens if it turns out not to be authentic? And I said, well, my faith doesn't depend on Medjugorje. And, but all I know is that when I've been there, some pretty amazing things have happened. And if you just look at the number of confessions that are heard there, or the people that go to Mass or adoration, it's an amazing place. There's a thing in our studies where the professor would say, geography is theology. Geography is theology. And in other words, there are places that we go that communicate spiritual ideas or experiences or theological experiences or ideas. And that up on a mountain, one can commune with God. Why did Israel have all its covenants on mountains? Why was the temple built on a mountain? Why did God bring Peter, James, and John up on a high mountain? Because in the imagination, these high places are places where we're close to God, where God lives. And it isn't just on mountains, right? In a forest, in creation, we've all got our place. I'd love to hear what your places are. Maybe you could put that in the comments section. Where are the places that you guys like to pray? And ultimately, though, and this is an important thing to remember, some people say, well, I don't need to go to church. I can just go out into a forest and pray. Well, yeah, you can pray out in a forest, but you still need to go to church because we're a community. Where the body of Christ is all of us together, gathered under our head Jesus. And Jesus told us to do this in memory of me. Jesus told us to have the Mass. Jesus gave us the Mass. He gave us the church because we're not just individuals on our own, but we're also a family oriented toward God. And that's what the Mass, that's what the Church gives us. And if you think about Eden, Eden was a garden. It was on a mountain. And it was filled with votive stones, precious offerings, plants, animals. And what did the Jews do when they made the temple? They made a replica of Eden. It had water, it had plants, it had jewels. And so, in a sense, when we try to create a beautiful church, what we're trying to do is recreate Eden. We're trying to create that sacred place where God lives. So when we go out into a forest and we say, well, I'm close to God. Well, why do you think that is? Because what we're made for is a sacred space where we can commune with God, but to make sure in our life that we have a place where that sacred space that is beautiful is also a place where all of us can be. Because, when you go to heaven, you're not going to be there by yourself, right? So it doesn't make sense to worship that way now. If we're going to be worshiping God with all the communion saints forever in heaven, why aren't we worshiping together here in this world now, right? So something to think about. But geography is theology, and what are your sacred places where you like to pray? I'd love to hear that. Okay, you guys all have a beautiful day. God bless you. Bye-bye.